Hello, my name is Heather and I've been teaching girls middle school in Korea for 3 years. Here are some tips that I use in my classroom. Number one, and I think the most important, is to be approachable. English is so daunting for most students, and if you aren't warm and welcoming, it will make it that much harder for them to want to speak and engage with you and in your classroom. Some ways I do that are: one, smile, smile, smile. Two, use some basic Korean. I always tell my students on the first day of school that they're learning English, I'm learning Korean, we're the same. And learning a new language is scary and hard, and I don't know everything, but I'm trying. So it's a good way to be a leading example. Number three, tell personal stories and experiences. My book is always talking about, different places and activities and things and foods. And so if I have a funny or interesting story about any of it, I'll tell it. It really breaks down the barrier of a formal learning setting, but also creates some common ground and will keep them engaged, because sometimes learning from the book can get a little boring. Four, I teach my kids my name, and they don't call me teacher. I ask them not to call me teacher. And a special tip for those of you with difficult names: I teach my students my name and I'll repeat it for them on the first day of school, and then I have them scream it. And I have them repeat screaming like, oh, okay, but do it louder. And I'll make them do it until my ears are almost ringing, and my students never have a problem pronouncing my name, and they always remember my name. Number five, ask them questions, even if you know the answer. Where is downtown, or where is the post office, or what's in Kimbap? I know the answer, but it's important that students are willing to try and give me the answer. Number two, have students translate. I only started doing this about a year ago and have seen so much progress and increased confidence. I wish I'd been doing it the whole time. Some ways to do that: ask for volunteers or randomly to translate that question, that sentence, that story, and most importantly, wait. It may take them a while to sort through the words in their head and build up the confidence to give it a go. And when a student tries, even if they're wrong, reward them. And try not to laugh and say, "Oh no, you're wrong, you fail." I had a co-teacher who would often reprimand a student or just be like, "Nope, you got it wrong." And I had to talk to her and be like, the willingness to try is crucial. And when you say that and when you're negative, they're never going to want to try again. So it's important that you give credit for trying, not just when the answer is right. Tip number three, display frequently used phrases and sentences, such as, how do you spell? Can I please have? How are you? I no longer accept the answer, I'm fine, thank you, and you. My students know they have to give me a different answer. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm awesome, I'm upset. And I highly recommend how do you spell. My students are always forgetting that. Tip number four, set high standards. Have students ask and answer in complete sentences. Two, ask your co-teacher to have students to refer students' questions to you. Like, oh, I can't see, can you zoom in? Can you turn it up? How do you spell? Those are really easy questions, but out of habit, they're going to ask your co-teacher first. So I've had mine, if it's a simple enough question, please have them ask me instead of just asking you, because it's easier. And as you begin to understand them, whether it's through Korean or body language, teach them what they're trying to say in English. Next, tip number five, use a random number generator. I started doing this my second year and absolutely love it. It keeps all students engaged and interested, and they know they have to pay attention because their number might be called. And I've had a lot of success with that. And it keeps the students engaged, when they're looking at the screen, is it my number? It's a good time. Next, I use my random number generator to have students model target language. For example, this week I taught, how often do you exercise? And the book gives some examples. And I'll have students stand with the random number generator and practice the book's questions, but I'll also have them write down their own question, how often do you, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll choose random numbers to stand and model their own sentence using that target language. And last, and what I think is most important for Korea, is to keep a student-centered classroom. In Korea, that's not a huge thing, and usually it's just lecture-based. But in English and in learning a foreign language, it's really important to keep it student-centered and get the students talking. I hope that this was helpful, and I wish you all the best in Korea, and good luck.
Created using Powtoon.